Okay, well, I gotta talk about a movie that I watched this evening that is just so cool, and for some reason I liked it so much. Now, in case you didn't know, Donald Trump is, by all accounts, one of the most famous people in the world right now. So it's even more vexing that somehow, some way, a gritty, dark crime drama was made about his origin story. We basically get the Joker, but Donald Trump origin story. It's quite fascinating of a movie. So did I like it? Of course I liked it. I thought it was a great movie. Now there's certainly some things about it you're not gonna like, and there's some things about it that are a certain way. And the truth of the matter of this, whether or not this is true, all these events that happen, you cannot deny the fact that they made a stunning movie about the origin stories of Trump. How this movie was even made is a miracle. Now I don't know if Trump had something to do with this. I'm pretty sure he denied even being true, these stories. But I mean, can you just make a movie like this about someone's life? It's really quite interesting. Now, like I mentioned, it's a very dark and gritty story. There's lots of badness that goes on, including all kinds of wild Diddy freak-offs and such. And you know what? One thing has to be said about this movie: the soundtrack is fucking epic, including New Order is part of the sound array, and it has a very wicked vibe to it. It's very 70s, it's very 80s. It's just that wicked ambiance of the time. It's great. Now it's ultra weird how at some parts, including Trump's family, that it goes over, which got has striked a soft part if the Donald ever watched this, which I would imagine he has. And like I said before, like he had to have something to do with this because it paints him in such a cool light. I mean, it's almost like a gangster movie, but it's about Trump origin story. I mean, it quite literally is just like the origin story of Trump. Yeah, probably they skimmed over some of the details. Yeah, they probably did some things a little differently. But Sebastian Stan looks fucking fantastic as him, and sometimes I had to do a double take to just kind of think like he nailed the hair and the look of him. And I've seen Trump in some of the older types of movie or like real footage of him. He looks very much like him, this Sebastian Stan. So the set design in this is it's good. It's really good. It takes you to a different time and it shows you a very important story. So I mean there has to be something said for that. So I guess your liking of this movie will kind of depend on whether or not you actually like Trump or not. But I mean, as for someone who likes Trump and thinks he's a pretty hilarious person, this just adds to the mythos by a lot. Like I said, how the fuck was this movie even made? Because some of the things they're displayed in it. I mean, I don't want to go into gory details here, but I mean, it is a very dark movie. There's some seriously 18 plus shit in this, and it's fucking like Trump's been attached to all this stuff, like kind of that. You gotta really wonder. You gotta really wonder. I mean, perhaps they legitimately wanted to paint Trump in a cool light. And this is what I was thinking when I was watching this movie is that, like, maybe he was like, let's make a cool movie. Like, people like dark, gritty, gangstery movies. Put some tits and ass and fucking blow in it. And all of a sudden, you got a cool character that's just an intense story. It's an awesome story. And, they've got to give them credit. They did a fantastic job on this with highlighting parts of history and Trump's personality and the younger Trump that you just probably never have seen. It's a movie that is just completely out of the blue. And at this point in time, Trump being elected president, never before is there a better time to watch his comeuppance. He might be even the emperor of mankind soon. But so I mean, learning this story might be taught in history books one day. We get the cool, brooding, dark Trump that we always wanted, who came from nothing and became something bigger than himself. And you know what? I have to hand it to the directors. This was a fucking fantastic idea for a movie because I'm sure this movie will rub some people the wrong way and they'll think it sucks. But for me, at this particular time in history, Yes, the movie was a little too dark at times. Yes, it was a little too gritty at times. But you know what? It's a fantastic story, and it stands on its own as an interesting movie. So I would definitely recommend it. I was thinking of 7, but the more I think about it, the more I kind of liked it. And Sebastian Stan's just fantastic fucking performance in this. I have to give this an 8. It's an 8 worthy movie. I mean, yeah, it's got its ups and downs, but it overall holds as a solid Trump origin story. And you really, like I said, you gotta ask yourself, how in the other motherfuck was this movie ever made? And was Trump involved in it or his sons? Because for all the bad it paints him as, it kind of paints him as pretty fucking cool in this. You gotta love him in it. So yeah, I definitely recommend The Apprentice. It was a good movie.